be teaching.
They're
They're not doing it at 10, 5 and 6. So look, my kids are watching that time, and plus,
Just
you
have
don't
them
have to tell people.
DVR it.
Hmm?
Have them DVR it.
That's not important. It'll be on the website.
Oh,
It's
cool.
gonna be on. I can see it, but I'm never too interested in seeing myself on television. You know, you always look different than you think you do, and so you start criticizing. I'm just hoping that, and then, you know, I don't know what, we talked a long time. I don't know what parts she's putting in there and stuff, but, so I'll see it on, but people always see you because they'll call you. They'll say, hey, were you on Channel 12 tonight? And then you start getting emails. I saw you on Channel 12 last night. So I know because Channel 12 is the station I watch. So if I were home, I'd see it, you know. So I'm sure I'll get a lot of calls tonight after it airs. But main thing is that we do want people to get us there. We thought that when they started all this change and everything, and they were telling us, you know, get the word out to people. You know, we're going to do a big media thing to get the word out, because, you know, it's across the country, and you know, they're making all the money. That's the GED testing service. They're making all the money. They sell the tests. I mean, you have to pay to give the test. You know, all this kind of stuff.
So they pretty much
And
pay
with
for
what
the
they
promotion
wanted.
as well? They pretty much pay for that type of promotion?
We thought they would, but they haven't done any promotion.
No.
This is November.
So this is like the first.
People have to finish by December 19th here to be able to not have to take the new test. The new test starts January. New test starts then. They have not done. I thought they'd have up billboards all over the place and everything. Nobody's hardly done anything. You know, so Johnson County had a story in their newspaper the other week, because they sent that out to everybody. Then yesterday, I did hear on NPR, they were talking about the GED test changing nationally and blah, 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 but I hate to say it, but most people that probably don't have the GED are not listening to NPR. You know, they ain't listening to public radio, they listen to K-Dog. You know, so whatever else, they ain't listening to public radio.
Yeah, they're not.
When my kids get in the car, they switch it, you know, to something. I don't want to listen to that either, but anyway. So a lot of people don't know that, and so they need to get the word out, and they were hoping that big cities like Wichita and, you know, the Kansas City area and things like Topeka, that they would really get the word out, but people didn't have money to do that. Programs, you know, we're nonprofit, we didn't have money to advertise. We put up signs in the building, but that's only if you're coming in to test what you see that. So the word really hasn't gotten out.
What about like the social media? Do you guys have a website that someone promotes, or?
Well, I'm sure GEDTS has it all over their website, but you have to go there to find it, you know.
People aren't just gonna randomly
People,
search it?
yeah, there are people who've taken 4 tests, they have 1 test left. And they don't know that if they don't come on in there and take it, well, they should, because they know the scores only last a year anyway, but they, you know, I don't know what they think. If I took 4 tests and passed them, I sure would be getting in there taking that last one. I wouldn't be just waiting, but, you know, WATC should have sent out, you can't call everybody because the phone numbers change, you know, from when, you know, last year, people don't have phones from month to month hardly anymore. It's very hard to keep track of students once, you know, testers, once they leave, and so they really had no way of contacting folks to let them know. So it's good that it's gonna be on TV, because even if people don't see it, maybe people who know people might see it, you know, see it broadcast, and, you know, and then on it I talk about how much more difficult the new test is supposed to be. Again, I don't know how much she put on there. She talked to me for a long time.
Is it gonna be more difficult, the newer test?
It's gonna be more difficult because it's gonna be different. It's more about critical thinking skills. You gotta think through things. They don't just, for instance, you know, you don't just have something to read, then they ask you to answer questions about it. Because they've been sending out practice tests so teachers can see the kind of stuff that's on there. And it'll have something like you have to read, and then they'll say, what do you think, so and so and so and so. So you have to give a long answer. I mean, you have to type in a complete answer. It's not just choosing from the stuff that's there what you think. You have to figure out what you think the answer is, and you have to type it in. There's no more writing tests. You don't have to do an essay anymore. But there are about 2 different times when you have to type in a short answer, and there are a couple times where you have to type in a pretty long answer. You have to, you know, give your reason and defend it. you know, give examples in what you've read to say what, you know, to defend what you're saying. And then the math goes quite a bit further. The math, it's not that much more difficult, but in things that we haven't studied, haven't had time to study in the past. Plotting linear equations is on there, and there's a little bit of trigonometry. Now, it's stuff that's in this book now, but it just goes further than what you've had to do in the past.
So,
So it's
that
gonna be
starts
more
in
difficult.
January?
January 2nd. That whatever the last date is to test in your jurisdiction or wherever you are, for instance, Cancel, our last testing day is December 19th. Now, we will test further than that if we have a demand. You know, if people say, you know, I'm ready to test, I can't find any place to test, we'll test people right straight through the end of the year. But that it only goes to December 31st. Once January 2nd comes, I think the first must be on a weekend. And so the second, whatever the first day of January is, the new test starts.
So I better brush up on that now, that way I don't have to take it before January, huh?
You gotta get it done now, or it's gonna be a little bit more difficult. Now, I say that, and what I told her as well is that I lived through the changing to this test. I've been in adult ed in Kansas since '90, and they changed the test in 2002. They used to not have an essay, and they added the essay, and they did some other things that were different. I'm sure made it a little bit harder. And everybody was saying then, oh, you better hurry up and take the test because you're not going to be able to pass that new test. Well, the people are still passing it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And truly, they do have to raise the bar as high schools raise their bar, because it has to be, people out in the public have to accept it equally. You can't say these people have to do all of this and they have a high school diploma, and these people do this and they get a high school diploma. You know, we have to say that they're doing the same thing, they're showing the same knowledge. And the whole thing about that credential, that secondary credential, is that they know that now that secondary credential is not enough. You have to have learned enough here so that you can go up to something else. Because in the past, when people have learned here, and a lot of people, when they try to go up to the next level, they would be in developmental education. You know, you wouldn't really test up to college math, for instance, or college composition. You test in an area where you'd have to take remedial classes, so you're paying money to take classes that you're not even really getting credit for. I mean, you're getting elective credit, but it's not really towards your college. There are 2 math classes before you ever get to the math class that counts in college. And a lot of people were stuck down here taking this for so long they never did finish their programs. And so they want to make sure that when you leave here, you're able to do the math that you need to do to move on. You're able to write the way you need to write to be able to move on to do whatever you want to do next, because it is just a fact that you have to do something next if you want to earn enough money to have a life-sustaining income, you know, because it takes more money to take care of everything, and to have things, and to do things, and to have families, and to, you know, all that kind of stuff takes more, and the jobs that pay that are jobs that require more specific skills and training. So, I mean, it's, you know, you don't want to get a harder test, but you do want to. The test just tests what you know, and you do want to know what you need to know, you know, to move up to the next level. So, anyway, so that's what the broadcast is all about: trying to get people to, if they have started testing, to go on and finish, letting people know that the old test is ending and that the new test is starting in January. So.
And aside from that, just to hopefully branch out to people that maybe have forgotten about
Like finishing up. Yeah. And people that have started but have not completed, we want to make sure that they do that. So. Okay, guys, let's look at that fraction review. We want to move on from fractions into decimals. You guys were doing page 132. We started doing that yesterday. Let's look at that, page 132. There it is back there. look at number 8. How you doing tonight, Carla? I saw you
I'm
ease
good,
in.
how are you?
I'm doing okay. I said I probably gonna stand outside and tell people to come on in. I wonder where Griselda is. Said, cause you see that Channel 12 thing, I think they may think it's some trouble up in there. They might not come into class. I said, maybe
Well, I
we'll
was
just stand
wondering what
out
was
there.
going on.
Yeah, but it's a good thing, it's not a bad thing. Okay, on number 8, it says the McDonald's are dividing, see right there, they give you a clue, are dividing a 90-acre field into 4.5-acre building lots. Remember, anytime you have a story problem, you are going to treat it like a story, not just as a problem. You have to read each sentence. You have to read each sentence carefully, stopping at periods and question marks, and understanding, because remember that every sentence gives meaning. You have to understand what meaning, what are they telling you? Are you looking for the page? 132. You have to understand what they're telling you. You have to either get a picture or draw a picture of what's going on, and that leads you to discover what you have to do to solve that problem. So it says they're dividing a 90-acre field into 4.5-acre building lots. So you have to picture, they have this big area, and they want to divide it up into 4.5-acre lots, right? So you have to picture